go into visitor statements, if anyone has any visitor statements. Okay, I'll have to read out the, you can come up to the mic, state your name and city you're in. I have to go through a explanation of what the visitor statement limitations are, or if there's issues with it. So let me read it. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages the participation of its citizens in the business of the school district. There are 2 points of the meeting where visitor statements are scheduled. Citizens are welcome to raise questions or make comments at either one. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual and cannot be combined. Please note that the Board of Education will not answer questions or engage in dialogue during visitors' comments. If a person would like additional time to address the board, such a request should be submitted in writing 24 hours before the meeting to the superintendent. In addition, the Board of Education is interested in receiving suggestions and concerns from members of the community. Any individuals may make a suggestion or express a concern at the district or the school office. All suggestions and/or concerns will be referred to the appropriate level staff member or district administrator who is most able to respond in a timely manner. Each concern or suggestion shall be considered on its merits. An individual who is not satisfied after following the channels of authority may file grievance under Board Policy 2:260 Uniform Grievance Procedure. Neither this policy nor the Uniform Grievance Procedure creates an independent right to hearing before the board. For more details, please refer to Board Policy 2:230 Public Participation at the Board of Education meetings and the petitions to the board, and Board Policy 8:110 Public Suggestions and Concerns.
Good evening. My name is Joe Leary, and I've lived in Riverside for the past 37 years. I'm a retired educator, and I've supported all the referendums for the past 35 years. Big supporter of RB. I'm here today to ask the new board to consider finding a way to keep the track open to the community, to the residents. I know there's an issue about construction of the tennis courts in the construction area, but I believe that the board will consider some creative possibilities of keeping that gate locked by the construction area, securing the construction area, but keeping open the other gates for the community. It's been closed for almost 3 years now, and there's hundreds of people that like to walk and run on the track. So I'm encouraging the board to consider this. I think it's a reasonable thing. I think there's some solutions I can come up with to keep the construction area secure, but keep open the track. I think that over the past couple of years, I've seen students and outside groups using it while construction was going on. I've heard explanations of why, but again, I think that the track should be not locked out to the people, the very people that paid for it. I voted for the referendum. My taxes go for that, and I don't think it's unreasonable for that. It should be kept open. And I'm a former executive dean of Wilbur-Wright College, and one of my responsibilities at the college was capital improvements. And we made it a priority that whatever capital improvements we had going at the college, that the facilities were always open to the public. And so I'm encouraging the board to take that in consideration, to try to come up with a creative solution to keep the track open so that we can walk and run on it. I've been using it for the past 35 years, and it's unfortunate that it's been locked up. I understand some of the reasons, but I think that we can, if we come up with some sort of balanced approach and some sort of creativity, that the track can be open to the community residents, and at the same time securing the tennis courts and the construction area. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Powers. I am a 34-year resident of Riverside. I had 3 children that went through RB. They all got a tremendous education here, both in terms of academics and extracurricular activities. So I'm very fond of RB. I think it's been a great institution. Like Joe, I voted in favor of every referendum to support the school since I've been in town. But I also voted in the most recent election for change. I voted for the 3 new board members and against the incumbents. And after the election, I read something in the newspaper that concerned me. And so I wanted to come and express that concern to the board. And that was Dr. Skinkis. He was asked by the newspaper if he thought the change in the board, the election, was any kind of repudiation of the board's current policies and practices. And he said no. And that concerned me as a citizen and a taxpayer because I voted for change. I can't speak for other voters, but I can speak for myself. And what I'm seeing, and perhaps to help you to know this, that how the taxpayer feels about what he's seeing here at RB. And don't forget, I'm a friend. I love this place. They did a great job on my kids. I really thank the teachers here for making my kids better citizens and better people. But what I see going on now is kind of a top-down, autocratic way of making decisions that's alienating the very constituencies that RB depends on and that RB exists for. And some examples of that would be, in my opinion, the first thing that really alarms me is what I've read in the paper and what I've heard from, the Landmark, by the way, and what I've heard from people who I know who are teachers, about the teachers being demoralized and afraid to speak out. That concerns me because I know my kids got a great education from the teachers that were here at RB. And to hear that they're demoralized and afraid to speak out says to me that there's something wrong at RB right now and that you folks need to look into that. So that was a real concern of mine, probably the chief concern, the chief reason that I'm here today. Number two was the lawsuit against the village of Brookfield. I, as a taxpayer and a citizen, was offended by that lawsuit, spending our tax dollars on a lawsuit against our neighbors, the very people we need to support this institution, over something like a parking lot. Look, my kids went here. I know there were parking problems. We got through them. Now, I'm glad it's been resolved, but I thought a lawsuit against the very people who support the school was unreasonable. And then, last but not least, I mean, there is the track issue. I feel that locking out the citizens who support it is just another way of alienating your constituents. And the citizens, we can only do three things if we're unhappy about what's going on. One, we can vote for change, which I think was happened in the last election. I voted for change. Two, we can come make our comments like I'm doing here. And three, and that's the thing that concerns me, when people get angry, they vote against referendums. And we're going to need another one eventually. I think there's been 5 since I lived in town. The last one, failing, I think it was 3-1. I voted in favor, by the way. I was the small minority. So I'm just asking you, the board, to think about how it looks to your constituents, the taxpayers, the citizens, the faculty, if indeed you think there is this top-down autocratic decision-making going on. I have a sense that there is, and just would like you to consider it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I gotta figure out how to shut it off. Okay.
No other visitor comments? Okay, at this point, we go around and ask the board members if there are any additional items they would like to discuss at the end of the board meeting. Looking to my left. All right. No? Okay.